Those 6 words from my neighbor John changed everything. Nicole, they've done this before. I'm standing in my childhood kitchen at 5:47 in the morning on Christmas Day, staring at a to-do list that's 3 pages long. My phone buzzes. Not with a Merry Christmas text. Not with my mother asking if I slept well. Instead, it's a photo notification from Instagram. My mother, Laura Martin, in a white linen dress, champagne flute raised, the azure Mediterranean sparkling behind her. The location tag reads, aboard the Sapphire Dream. My hands are raw from scrubbing the burnt lasagna pan they left in the sink. There are 5 children asleep upstairs, none of them mine. The house is silent except for the hum of the security cameras my brother Brandon installed for safety. I'm Nicole Martin. I'm 28 years old. I run a successful freelance graphic design business. And 2 weeks ago, I thought my family finally wanted me home for the holidays. I was wrong. Let me take you back to the moment I should have known better. The moment the phone rang, and I heard my father's voice for the first time in 18 months. Nicole, sweetheart, Randy Martin said, his tone warm as melted butter. We want you home for Christmas. The whole family. We've even bought your plane ticket. I cried. Actually cried. Because for the first time since I could remember, I wasn't the afterthought. I wasn't the backup plan. I was wanted. Except I wasn't wanted. I was needed. And there's a difference I'm only now beginning to understand. The plane ticket wasn't a gift. It was a transaction. The warm phone call wasn't reconciliation. It was recruitment. This is the story of how I discovered I was never their daughter. I was their employee. And this is the story of how I finally quit. Chapter 1, The Golden Ticket. The call came on a Tuesday. I was in my apartment in Portland, 3 days into a design project that was bleeding me dry, surviving on cold pizza and the kind of loneliness that makes you check your phone every 5 minutes, hoping for a text that never comes. When Dad appeared on my screen, my first thought was, someone died. Nicole, sweetheart. His voice was warm. Too warm. Like he was reading from a script. Your mother and I have been talking. We want you home for Christmas. I set down my coffee. My hands started shaking. The whole family will be there, he continued. Brandon's bringing the kids. Nikki's coming in from Seattle. We thought it was time. Time. As if the 18 months of silence had just been an intermission. As if Thanksgiving 2 years ago, when Nikki told me I was exhausting to be around and Brandon said I brought nothing to the table, had never happened. I don't know, Dad. The ticket alone would be. Already bought it. His voice brightened. Business class. Christmas Eve morning. We've got your old room ready. Your mother's already planning the menu. She asked specifically what your favorite dessert was. My eyes burned. When was the last time my mother asked about my favorite anything? She remembered I like lemon bars. She's making 3 batches. I should have heard the trap snapping shut. Instead, I heard, you matter, you belong, come home. Okay, I whispered. I'll be there. That's my girl. There was a pause. Oh, and Nicole? Let's keep this between us. You know how your siblings get about you getting special treatment. Special treatment. I paid my own way through college while Brandon got a full ride on the family checkbook. But I said nothing. I'd learned long ago that being the youngest meant being the quietest. Our secret, I agreed. I booked the time off. Bought new clothes I couldn't afford. Practiced conversations in the mirror where I was witty and confident, where they finally saw me as an equal. The night before my flight, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, imagining Christmas morning. My mother handing me coffee just the way I liked it. My father asking about my work. Being part of the laughter instead of the punchline. I imagined being chosen instead of tolerated. The ticket arrived by email. I printed it out and held it like it was made of gold. I should have read the fine print. Chapter 2: The Homecoming. Brandon picked me up from the airport. Not my parents. Not Nikki. Brandon, in his Tesla with the personalized plates that read Ameritinfam, wearing a Christmas sweater that probably cost more than my rent. Nick. He pulled me into a hug that smelled like expensive cologne and felt like a business transaction. Look at you. Portland's been good to you. It hadn't. But I smiled. The house looked like a Christmas movie had exploded across the front lawn. Lights everywhere. A wreath on every window. An inflatable Santa the size of a compact car. Inside, the house smelled like cinnamon and pine. My mother emerged from the kitchen, apron on, arms open. Baby girl. Laura Martin wrapped me in a hug. You're too skinny. We're going to fix that. Nikki appeared on the stairs, 2 toddlers trailing behind her. Well, well. The prodigal daughter returns. There it was. That edge. But she was smiling, so I smiled back. Here, take Madison. She thrust a squirming 3-year-old at me. I need to finish wrapping presents. You don't mind, right? You're so good with kids. I wasn't. But I took Madison anyway. Dinner that night was perfect. Too perfect. Everyone was attentive, asking questions, laughing at my jokes. My father poured me wine. My mother served me first. Brandon complimented my sweater. I felt like I'd walked into an alternate dimension. After the kids were in bed, we sat around the fireplace. That's when Brandon cleared his throat. So, Nick, tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Mom and Dad need to run some errands, and Nikki and I have some last-minute shopping. Would you mind holding down the fort? Just for a few hours? Something cold slithered down my spine. The kids will mostly nap, Nikki added quickly. And there's a list of stuff on the fridge. Just some light tidying. You know how Mom is about the house looking perfect for Christmas. Sure, I heard myself say. Of course. My mother squeezed my hand. You're such a blessing, Nicole. I don't know what we'd do without you. I went to bed that night in my childhood room, staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars I'd stuck to the ceiling when I was 12. The same stars I'd stared at every night, wondering why I was never quite enough. Tomorrow, I'd prove I was enough. Tomorrow, they'd finally see me. Tomorrow, everything would change. I was right about that last part. Chapter 3: The Vanishing. The silence woke me. Not an alarm. Not voices. Not the thunder of children's feet that had shaken the house until midnight. Silence. I checked my phone, 5:47 a.m. Christmas Eve. Something was wrong. I pulled on my robe and opened my bedroom door. The hallway was dark. Every door was closed. I walked downstairs, my heart starting to hammer. Hello? My voice echoed in the empty living room. The Christmas tree lights were off. The kitchen was spotless. Too spotless. No coffee brewing. No breakfast mess. No signs of life. Then I saw it. A piece of paper, held to the refrigerator by a magnet shaped like a gingerbread man. Nicole, surprise. We decided to give you the best Christmas gift, the whole house to yourself. We know how much you love hosting and organizing. The kids are with us, don't worry. We'll be back in a few days. There's food in the fridge and a to-do list to keep you busy. Consider it our way of saying thanks for always being so reliable. Merry Christmas. The Martins. My hands started shaking. I flipped the page. The so-called to-do list was 3 pages long. Single-spaced. Deep clean all bathrooms. Vacuum entire house including under furniture. Wash all linens and remake beds. Clean out refrigerator. Organized garage. Dust ceiling fans. Clean windows inside and out. Polish silverware. Scrub grout in kitchen and bathrooms. The list went on. And on. I walked to the front window. The driveway was empty. Both cars gone. I checked the garage. Empty. They were gone. All of them. I ran back upstairs and started throwing open doors. Brandon's room, empty. Nikki's room, empty. The kids' room, toys scattered, but no kids. My parents' room, empty, but the closet door was open. Half the clothes were gone. Suitcases. That's what I'd seen them loading last night. I'd asked what they were for, and Nikki had laughed and said, "Oh, just some donations for the church." Donations. I stood in my parents' empty bedroom, the truth crystallizing like ice in my veins. The warm phone call. The bought ticket. The perfect dinner. The compliments. None of it was real. They needed a house sitter. A maid. Free labor. And I'd been stupid enough to come. My phone buzzed. It was an Instagram notification. My mother had posted a photo. She was on a yacht. A massive, gleaming yacht with Sapphire Dream written on the side. She was wearing a white linen dress, holding a champagne flute, the ocean sparkling behind her. The caption read, "Blessed to spend Christmas with my favorite people. Hashtag family first. Hashtag Christmas miracle. Hashtag living our best life." I scrolled through her photos. There was my dad. There was Brandon with his kids. There was Nikki, sunglasses on, cocktail in hand. They were all there. Everyone except me. I walked back downstairs in a daze. That's when I noticed it, a red light blinking in the corner of the living room. A camera. I looked around. There was another one in the kitchen. One in the hallway. They were watching me. My phone rang. I looked at the screen, Brandon. I answered. "Hey, Nick." His voice was bright, cheerful, already slightly slurred. "Just checking in. Make sure you saw the list. And hey, don't forget to water Mom's orchids. She's very particular about those. Oh, and the security system is set to alert us if you leave the property, so just stay put, okay? We want to make sure the house is safe." I couldn't speak. "Nick? You there? You left me." My voice sounded small. Broken. "What?" "No. We gave you a gift. The whole house. Do you know how much people pay for house-sitting gigs like this? You should be grateful. Now, we've got a snorkeling trip in 20 minutes, so. You left me here to clean your house. Our house, Nick. It's the family house. And family helps family. That's what you do, right? You help. That's your thing." He hung up. I stood there, phone in my hand, staring at the 3-page list. That's when I heard a knock at the door. Chapter 4, The Truth Comes Out. I opened the door to find John Fletcher, my parents' neighbor. He was holding a thermos and 2 mugs. "Saw your light on," he said carefully. "Thought you might want some coffee." I must have looked like a ghost because his expression shifted immediately from friendly to concerned. "Nicole? Are you okay?" And that's when I broke. I don't know what came out of my mouth first. The plane ticket. The list. The yacht photos. The cameras. Brandon's phone call. It all spilled out in a humiliating, tear-soaked confession. When I finally stopped talking, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said those 6 words that changed everything. "Nicole, they've done this before." My blood turned to ice. "What?" He stepped inside, closing the door behind him. 3 years ago. Different girl. Your cousin, I think. Sierra? They invited her for Thanksgiving. Same setup. They left her with the kids and a massive cleaning list while they went to Vegas. I sat down hard on the stairs. Sierra never came back after that, John continued. Cut them off completely. Your mother told everyone in the neighborhood that Sierra had personal issues and couldn't handle family time. Why didn't anyone say anything? Who would we tell? It's your family, Nicole. We all just assumed you knew what kind of people they were. He poured coffee and handed me a mug. But seeing you here alone on Christmas morning, I figured maybe you didn't know. I wrapped my hands around the warm mug, my mind racing. There's something else, John said quietly. About 6 months ago, I saw your brother loading furniture out of this house. Nice stuff. Antiques. Your grandmother's things. He told me he was taking it to storage, but I saw him unload it at an auction house in town. He sold Grandma's furniture? Nicole, I don't know what your family's financial situation is, but something's not adding up. This house should be paid off. Your parents both had good jobs. But they're acting like people who are desperate. The coffee burned in my stomach. The office, I said suddenly. My dad's home office. He keeps all his paperwork there. John met my eyes. If I were you, I'd want to know the truth. And I'd want proof. He pulled out his phone. Here's my number. You call me if you need anything. And Nicole? You're not crazy. You're not ungrateful. You're a person who deserves better than this. After he left, I stood in the silent house for a long time. Then I walked to my father's office and opened the door. Chapter 5, The Paper Trail. The office was exactly as I remembered it. Dark wood desk. Leather chair. Filing cabinets lining the wall. My hands shook as I pulled open the first drawer. Insurance papers. Old tax returns. Nothing unusual. The second drawer was locked. I searched the desk. Found a small key taped under the bottom drawer. Classic Dad. The locked drawer slid open. Inside was a folder labeled Family Accounts. The first document was a bank statement for the Martin Family Trust. My grandmother had set it up before she died. There were 5 names on the account: Randy, Laura, Brandon, Nikki, and Nicole. The balance should have been around $50,000. Money that Grandma wanted split equally between her 3 grandchildren when we each turned 30. The balance showed $147. My vision blurred. I flipped through more statements. Withdrawals. Dozens of them. $50,000, drained over the past 2 years. The signature on every withdrawal slip, Randy Martin. But that wasn't even the worst part. Beneath the bank statements was a manila folder with my name on it. Inside were credit card applications. 3 of them. All approved. All in my name. I didn't have any credit cards except the one I'd opened in college. The balances showed $23,000. $18,000. $31,000. $72,000 in debt. In my name. That I never authorized. There were more documents. A car loan for Brandon's Tesla. Co-signed by Nicole Martin. A home equity line of credit. Co-signed by Nicole Martin. Business expenses for Martin Family Enterprises. Authorized by Nicole Martin. My social security number was on everything. I pulled out my phone and started taking pictures. Every document. Every statement. Every signature that wasn't mine. That's when I found the final folder. It was labeled Nicole, Flight Reimbursement. Inside was a receipt for my plane ticket. Business class. $1,600. And beneath it, a tax form. A donation receipt made out to Martin Family Enterprises for $1,600. travel expenses for volunteer labor services. They'd written off my plane ticket as a charitable donation. I'd been invited home for Christmas as a tax deduction. My phone buzzed. Another Instagram notification. This time it was Nikki. A video. She was on the deck of the yacht, wind in her hair, cocktail in hand. Living my best life, she shouted to the camera. No stress, no drama, just family. Behind her, I could see my mother laughing. My father toasting with champagne. Brandon doing a cannonball into the crystal blue water with his kids. They were having the time of their lives. On my money. In my name. While I scrubbed their toilets. Something inside me shifted. Something cold and clear and final. I picked up my phone and called my bank. Yes, hi. I need to report identity theft and fraudulent charges on my account. Multiple accounts, actually. And I need to freeze my credit immediately. While I waited on hold, I took one more photo. The tax receipt for my plane ticket. Then I opened my laptop and started composing an email to a lawyer. Chapter 6, The Confrontation. I spent the next 4 hours documenting everything. Photos of the documents. Screenshots of the Instagram posts. A timeline of every lie, every manipulation, every financial transaction I hadn't authorized. Then I sat in the living room and waited. The call came at 2:17 p.m. FaceTime. Nikki. I stared at the screen for a moment, then accepted. Nicole. Nikki's face filled the screen, sunburned and smiling. Behind her, the ocean sparkled. Oh my God, you're still in your pajamas. Did you even start the list? Mom's going to be so disappointed. I said nothing. Hello? Earth to Nicole? She laughed. Don't tell me you're sulking because we left you behind. This was a gift, remember? I found the office, I said quietly. Her smile froze. What? Dad's office. The filing cabinets. The locked drawer. I held up my phone, showing her the photos. I found everything, Nikki. The color drained from her face. Nicole, wait. You don't understand. That's private family business. You had no right to go through that stuff. The credit cards in my name? The loans I never signed? The trust fund that's supposed to be mine? My voice was steady now. Calm. That's not family business. That's fraud. You're being dramatic. But her eyes were darting off screen. Brandon. Brandon, get over here. My brother's face appeared, still dripping from the pool. What's wrong? Your sister is having one of her episodes, Nikki said, her voice sharp. She went through Dad's office and now she's making accusations. Nicole. Brandon's voice had that condescending tone I'd heard my whole life. Whatever you think you found, you're misunderstanding. That trust fund was for family emergencies. We had emergencies. And the credit cards, that was Dad helping you build credit. He was doing you a favor. By committing identity theft? It's not identity theft when it's family. His face was getting red. You're so ungrateful. We brought you home for Christmas. We gave you a place to stay. We're giving you purpose, and this is how you repay us. I hit record on my phone's voice memo app. Held it up so they could see. Say that again, I said. About the credit cards. And the trust fund. Tell me again how taking $72,000 in my name without my permission isn't identity theft. Brandon's expression changed. Are you recording this? I've been recording since you answered. You can't do that. That's illegal. Actually, in Oregon, only one party needs to consent to being recorded. That's me. But thank you for confirming everything I found in Dad's office. The lawyer I sent this to is going to love this video. Nikki lunged for the phone, but I could still hear her shouting. You're going to ruin Christmas. You're going to destroy this family over money? Over fraud, I corrected. Over identity theft. Over financial abuse. And over the fact that you left me here to be your unpaid maid while you committed tax fraud with my plane ticket. The screen went black. They'd hung up. My phone immediately started buzzing. Text after text. Mom, Nicole, call me right now. What have you done? Dad, this is unacceptable. We raised you better than this. Brandon, you're making a huge mistake. I can make this very difficult for you. Nikki, I can't believe you're choosing to be this selfish. On Christmas. I blocked all of them. Then I called John. It's done, I said when he answered. I confronted them. I recorded it. And I've already filed reports with my bank and credit bureaus. Good, he said firmly. Now pack your things. All of them. Don't leave anything you care about behind. What about the kids? They're supposed to come back here when my family returns. Already handled. I called your cousin Sierra. She's contacting the other grandparents. The kids won't come back to an empty house. Sierra. The cousin who'd gone through this 3 years ago. The one my family said had personal issues. John, why are you helping me? He was quiet for a moment. Because 20 years ago, your grandmother helped me when I had nobody. She saw that I needed help, and she didn't ask questions. She just helped. And she made me promise that if I ever saw someone in her family who needed help, I'd return the favor. His voice softened. She'd be proud of you, Nicole. For standing up for yourself. I hung up and looked around the house. At the pristine decorations. The perfect Christmas tree. The family photos on the wall where I was always slightly out of frame, slightly blurred, slightly less important than everyone else. I walked upstairs and started packing. Chapter 7, The Escape. It took me 3 hours to pack everything I owned. Which wasn't much. I'd traveled light because I'd only planned to stay for 5 days. 5 days that became a prison sentence I never agreed to. I loaded my suitcase into my rental car, then walked back into the house one more time. I went to the living room wall. The one covered in family photos. There was Brandon's college graduation. Brandon's wedding. Brandon's first house. Nikki's promotion. Nikki's engagement. Nikki's baby shower. And there, in the corner, one photo of me. My high school graduation. I was smiling, but my eyes looked sad. I was standing alone while the rest of the family clustered together on the other side of the frame. I took the photo off the wall and packed it in my bag. Then I walked to the kitchen and looked at the 3-page list still magnetized to the refrigerator. I took a red marker from the drawer and wrote across the top, not my job. Not my family. Not my problem anymore. I left it there for them to find. John was waiting in his driveway when I came out. He walked over and handed me an envelope. What's this? Copies of everything you found. Certified and notarized. The originals are in a safe deposit box at my bank. Just in case your family tries to destroy the evidence. I hugged him. This man who barely knew me. This stranger who showed me more kindness in one morning than my family had in 28 years. Thank you, I whispered. You're going to be okay, Nicole, he said. Better than okay. You're going to be free. I got in my car and drove away from that house. Away from the cameras. Away from the list. Away from the people who taught me that love was something you had to earn by erasing yourself. My phone buzzed one more time. Mom, when we get home, we're going to have a serious conversation about your behavior and your future in this family. I didn't block her this time. Instead, I responded. There is no future. I'm done. The police have the evidence. The lawyers have the documentation. And I have my life back. Merry Christmas. Then I blocked her. I drove for 2 hours before I finally pulled over at a rest stop. Sat in my car. And cried. Not sad tears. Not angry tears. Relief. For the first time in my life, I'd chosen myself. Chapter 8, 6 months later. It's been 6 months since that Christmas. 6 months since I walked away from the family that never chose me. The legal battle is ongoing. The lawyer says we have a strong case, and the credit card companies have already removed the fraudulent debt from my name. My credit score is slowly recovering. The trust fund lawsuit is moving forward, though my parents are fighting it every step of the way. They tried to contact me once, through a family mediator. They wanted to resolve this privately without further damage to the family name. I declined. Because this isn't about revenge. It's not even about the money, though I absolutely intend to get back every penny they stole. It's about boundaries. It's about refusing to be gaslit into believing that abuse is love. It's about understanding that family isn't defined by blood. It's defined by choice. By respect. By mutual care. And they chose not to be my family a long time ago. I'm back in Portland now. My business is growing. I've made actual friends, people who want to spend time with me because they enjoy my company, not because they need something from me. John and I talk every week. He's become the father figure I never had. Sierra and I meet for coffee once a month. She's helping me find a good therapist. Someone who specializes in family trauma and financial abuse. And slowly, piece by piece, I'm building a life where I'm not the backup plan. Where I'm not the fixer. Where I'm not the one who disappears while everyone else shines. Last week, I got a message from Brandon's ex-wife. Apparently, she left him 3 months ago. She'd found his own secret credit cards, his own hidden accounts, his own pattern of financial manipulation. She wanted to thank me. Said that seeing me stand up to the family gave her the courage to leave. I cried when I read that message. Not because I was sad. But because I realized that sometimes the most important thing you can do is save yourself. And in doing so, you show others that they can save themselves too. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. A year since the morning I woke up in that empty house and realized I'd been lured home as free labor. I'm not spending it alone this time. John invited me over for dinner. Sierra's coming too. And a few of my new friends from Portland. We're calling it Chosen Family Christmas. There won't be any expensive decorations. No perfect Instagram photos. No elaborate lies about how blessed we are. Just good food. Honest conversation. And people who chose to show up. People who chose me. And for the first time in my life, that's enough. Actually, it's more than enough. It's everything.